Yes guys, welcome back to another video. Welcome to the George Benson football channel. I feel a bit better today. You know, like the last video I posted, the 6 things we learned, it was very much more of a rant styled video compared to what I'd normally be posting on my channel. You guys know that during the Lampard era in particular, which is when my channel's been alive, I started it just as Sarri was sacked after the Europa League final, and then during that summer is when we started making regular content. Things haven't really ever been at a position where there is strong divide within the Chelsea fan base, where there is evident things happening on the pitch and turmoil off of the pitch and speculation about the manager's future. This is kind of really the first time that happened. Caught me working, Mr. Fan. I'll be back in a bit. The first time that's really happened, to be honest. It's a beautiful day, by the way. It's meant to be like I got a warning through on my phone saying it's going to be a load of rain, there might be a couple of landslides. There's been absolutely nothing of the sort. It's been absolutely gorgeous. But back to the point and why we're here for today. We are going to be talking about one individual that Chelsea have been linked with, and I'm hopefully going to get some information regarding whether that transfer is actually one that could go ahead before, you guys know, we start building the hype here on GBFC. But this is really the first time where a lot of things are being questioned, and it's also the first time where I'm actually feeling in a position where I'm asking questions as a fan too. I'm wondering whether, you know, the fairy tale, the love story that was Lampard taking over, our greatest ever manager, he brings through the youth academy, he knows what it is to be Chelsea. Since that takeover, and since Lampard's been in the job, this is the first time where we've got enough data now in terms of watching Chelsea play, in terms of seeing Lampard's in-game management, in terms of seeing how we do against the big clubs, which this season has been nothing shy of atrocious, to be fair. The questions are being asked about Lampard. He managed to get through yesterday, which is the initial day after the Leicester game and after a big defeat. There was a lot of people saying that Lampard might have even gone the following morning. Now it's been a day, and you know, I thought I'd wait and talk about this after that. And Lampard is still in the job, and you do wonder, you know, how long it's going to be. Are we talking one result away from the end of the Lampard era? Whether we actually think that is deserved or not, if you're in the boat of give Lampard more time, let me know in the comments down below. And if you really do think Lampard should go now, tell me the exact reasons why, and also who you think is going to come in and why you think that appointment would actually be beneficial to Chelsea moving forward. The position I'm currently stood in, well, not as in like where I'm actually stood right now, kind of irrelevant to everything really. The position I'm in now regarding Lampard is that I think it's gone on to a point where I fully understand if he does go, but the romantic side of me is still believing that Lampard can do something about it. Considering all of the new players that were bought in, considering the fact that we did spend so much money, no pre-season, I think we're really starting to see now the massive impact that not having a pre-season has had on Chelsea Football Club, with so many key players that have come in. You know, we bought the likes of Ziyech, Havertz, Werner to immediately come into the starting 11s to make us a better side than the team that finished in the top 4 last season. You know, they came in with the expectation to elevate the club into title challengers. And when you look at the nature of the Premier League this season and the way everything has gone, if that would have happened and Chelsea would have consistently grown within this side, you know, we had a 17-game unbeaten run across all competitions, but since then we've really come unstuck over the busy period where you have to grind, you have to graft, you have to all be ready, and by, you know, the halfway point in a season, a team's style and the way that we play should start to become established. Whether these players have gelled together properly or not, it hasn't happened, you know, and I think that is where the serious worry lies. But the thing for me, and I bring it back to the tier list video that I made regarding Chelsea's potential next manager if Lampard is indeed to lose his job. Since I made that video, you should go and check it out if you haven't yet seen it, by the way. But since I've made that video, you know, the people that were more on the fence, or they were still very strongly Lampard in, I hate how I'm using all of these like in terms these days, like Lampard out, Lampard in, Wenger out. All of these things that social media has made us become like accustomed to and ready for. I think since then, a lot of the people that were in the middle and they could kind of see that we didn't really have a plan, or we have a plan but it's not really a profitable plan in the current Premier League form, a lot of those people now have given up on Lampard. And I think if you watch my video yesterday, it very much does look like I have given up. Rational minds like to tend to think about things more rationally, once they've had a bit more time to process what they've seen, witnessed, and the information that they've been given. When I look at the managers that we're linked with, I just feel as though, yeah, it could fix our season in terms of we're currently 8th in the Premier League table. We're beneath bloody West Ham, for goodness sake. It would actually go against what Lampard has been brought in to do, which was the steadiest ship that lost Eden Hazard, that had a transfer ban. He certainly did that last season, and I think at the moment it really is a bad patch of form. But in the way the Premier League has been this year, we are just a few games away. If we can get a couple of good results, we're still only a couple of games away from hopefully fixing the confidence issue and rocketing back up the Premier League table. It's that close at this moment in time. So when I look at the other managers available, I mean, if Tuchel was to come in, he's the man that everyone's touting at the moment to become the next manager. If Thomas Tuchel was to come in, of course, I'm going to support him. You know, I'm a Chelsea fan. Whoever's in charge, I want to give them my backing until it's just evidently clear that it isn't possible. With Lampard, at the moment, it's not looking like it will work, but I'm hoping that it does. So, in the meantime, with Lampard still as the manager, I don't want to spread any more hatred towards the manager. I don't want to spread any more hatred towards individual players. But I do, here on GBFC, want to talk about a man that Chelsea have been linked with in the past couple of weeks. And I've not mentioned it here on GBFC yet, but Chelsea have been linked with Borussia Dortmund's Norwegian powerhouse striker, Erling Haaland. At the moment, I'm looking at this and Timo Werner has come in and he's our top scorer this season, but it's not been kind of heights that people would have expected. And I think when that is a given and Werner's coming in for a lot of stick at the moment, the links to Haaland are very good media articles that could get people talking about Chelsea and how we spend a lot of money and how we've got the capabilities to spend that much money, and maybe because Timo Werner's not firing on all cylinders and he's coming in for this kind of scrutiny, then maybe Chelsea are looking for Haaland as the man that Werner isn't, that they thought that he was. Does that make sense? So I don't buy into this too much. As I said, I'm going to be doing a video with somebody who will hopefully shed a lot more light and information for you lot as to whether or not these Haaland links actually hold any strong value from Chelsea Football Club. But the one thing that I think could be brilliant about this signing coming through is not just how good Erling Haaland is, but I think it's an idea from Chelsea to be able to try and adapt a system that we haven't seen at the club for quite some time, and that you don't actually see as frequently in football as much as you used to do, which is having two strikers starting every single game. At the moment, Chelsea, if you look at us, we go with a 4-3-3. You've got the left winger Pulisic, the right winger Hudson-Odoi or Ziyech. And when I see this, I think it kind of makes us play this crossing style of football that's become so predictable in the Premier League. And at the moment, it's not looking likely that Lampard's even considering putting both Tammy Abraham and Timo Werner up front together. So in terms of Chelsea knowing that a shape and a formation change might be the way forward for getting the best out some of the players that we spent so much money on already, if that is the case, then buying someone like Erling Haaland, who's a proven goal scorer, he's incredibly young, already one of the best strikers in the world, it could make sense in that kind of formational sense in terms of looking at the personnel right now at Chelsea. We're not going to be wanting to give up on the likes of Werner, Ziyech, Havertz. There's no need to give up on these players just yet. It's just taking them a lot longer than we would have liked to see them actually settle into this Chelsea team and settle into English football. So the signing of Haaland is something that, despite buying Timo last summer, if you look at Chelsea's expenditure compared to what we did spend, we're still looking pretty good. And we've also got a lot of players still on our books who we can be selling for some money, who might have limited days left at the club. You look at the likes of Jorginho, you've got Bakayoko, who could still be sold for a pretty decent price. You've got a couple of defenders, maybe Christensen, maybe Rudiger. If Chelsea are going to go in for someone like Upamecano, who I spoke about before, with a £40 million release clause, then you can see financially how Chelsea could justify going for someone like Erling Haaland. There is also this thing where just because we spend a lot of money on a striker, you look at Alvaro Morata, spent a lot of money on him, and his Chelsea career dwindled before it even decided to light like a candle. So Timo Werner, not saying that I believe that's going to be the case, but Chelsea might be aware that Timo Werner may never really fully settle into Premier League football. And then there's the question that I know a lot of you are going to be asking about, and it's, do you not rate Tammy? Don't you think Tammy Abraham's good enough? Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And with Chelsea strikers over the years, we knew Didier Drogba was a special striker. We knew that Diego Costa had that grit, that fight, that anger, that passion, that love for that blue shirt and just doing things on the pitch to give Chelsea an edge. With Tammy, at the moment, to summarise this as best way I can, I believe there's a good striker in there, but I don't see enough of those traits that make me fully confident that he is that big, long-term number 9 that is going to be firing 20 goals a season for Chelsea throughout his whole career. At the moment, I'm not that confident about Tammy Abraham, so the idea of going for Haaland, I like it. It would give us the option if Timo's firing or if Tammy's firing to go with 2 striker formations that I think could be good for Chelsea to actually experiment with in the Premier League and in the future. Do I think it's going to happen? Again, very early to say at this moment in time. If it was to happen, it would probably happen next summer because I think there is a clause that allows Haaland to leave for a lot cheaper in 2022. And if you use your common sense and you look at the way his career's going, his value that he's at right now is going to go up by the time 2022 arrives because of just how good he is of a footballer. And by then he's going to be hitting towards or closer towards his prime years. So, Haaland to Chelsea is exciting. I think despite all of the money we spent on attacking players this season, I think in terms of shape and in terms of structure for Chelsea and the way we set up moving forward, I think it could be a very good option indeed. However, most of this video I was talking about Lampard and where I stand with things now. I do want you guys to let me know in the comments down below where exactly you are, having had that extra time now since that Leicester game to really look at it, consider the other managers that are available. Is it time to twist now? Or do we give Frank Lampard some more time? Do we try and protect a little bit of that idol status he has at the club, which I try not to think about that, but it is also a thing that I think Abramovich will be considering, because if Chelsea were doing this bad with a Tuchel or an Allegri or another big manager name in world football, would he be given more time? I don't think so. But I think bringing it back to that bigger picture of where we were when Lampard came in, losing Hazard, needing to bring through young players, I think it's still very strong that I can say that that part of Lampard's management term has been a big success. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm going to get away from this beach now. The sun is setting on a beautiful day. Tomorrow, hopefully, there will be a very interesting video talking about transfers and maybe a bit more insight into Lampard's legitimate future at Chelsea Football Club. My hair is blending in with the flipping clouds, I've just realised. But anyway, hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video. That always helps me out. It's a nice little way for me to gauge whether you guys are enjoying the content or not. Hopefully, I can get back filming videos in my room again soon. I don't always have to walk around with the iPhone because my camera's broken and it's pretty tough to get things fixed like that here in Bali. So yeah, hope you're all having a good day. Hope you're staying safe. Come on, you Blues.